Mel, we know how disappointed you were with the opening game of the season. You could argue there's improvement because you won 3-0 against Southampton, but again, are you concerned, or is it just because it is early and you've got a squad that's just coming together, if you like?
Yeah, I think, being only 2 games in, we're not hitting the panic button. Got to trust our processes, and like you say, there was improvements in the performance. Yes, not the result that we wanted, but we can't just look at it as a negative. We have to look at what we did well, and we have to obviously look at where we went wrong in moments. But ultimately, we created some really good chances in that first half, and should have been at least 2-3-0 up at half time.
Do you think there is a change this season in some of these teams are actually investing more in the teams, and there's a definite change in the quality of the teams in the Championship?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Look, we've got a tough start in terms of the teams that we're coming up against, but again, that's the level of competition, and we hold ourselves in high regard. Like, we want to be a better team. We want to be getting points on the board. Of course we do, and we just can't panic. We've got to kind of stick to what we've been doing last season. Nothing's really changed. We've got a couple of different personnel in there, but ultimately we're still trying to do the same thing. So it'll come together, and hopefully that'll be on Sunday.
And on Sunday you've got another team, which is an interesting team because they've got an owner who's very, very focused on making London a standalone football club. They're not affiliated to one of the Premier League teams.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the trend. The French coach.
Yeah, got some really good individual players, picked up some good results along the way, and we take each game as it comes, and we've analysed them, we've done our due diligence on them, and we've come up with a plan on how we're going to get some points on the board. So we have to be at the races. We have to want it more than them. We've got to have good desire when we've got the ball, and especially when we haven't got the ball. So different type of challenge, but one that we're looking forward to.
You have played 2 teams, Birmingham and Southampton, that could be there or thereabouts within the season. That sort of, in a way, suggests that you won't be, but that's probably not fair, is it? Because you'll argue that, judging on your performances last season, you deserve to be up there. So it's just finding your groove, if you like. Yeah,
and once we get one, I'm sure more will come. And you look at the results of last weekend when we didn't play. There's some so-called littler teams beating some called bigger teams. So again, it's so unpredictable, the league, and every fixture is going to be difficult. We know that, and we have to want it more than the opposition on the day, and have the quality in order to punish teams.
And is that frustrating, you not having a game last week? This whole issue about the number of games that you play, it seems somewhat skewed in a way that you only have the 20 games in the Championship over the season. I know you've got the League Cup as well, but it doesn't give you the ability to gain any sort of momentum.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it is what it is. Like, we can't control not having a game, so we prepared properly. The players were in at the weekend. They weren't given any extra time off, that's for sure. So they've been working hard on the grass, and ultimately, we just got to play the games that we need to play.
And are the spirits good? I mean, it's easy to get downhearted, I suspect, after 2 defeats in that manner. Yeah,
and we've got to try and keep our spirits up, and like you say, there's no need to panic. We're only 2 games in. The group's together. Something that we pride ourselves on, being a team that's together, and more so in the tougher times. I think that shows a true kind of the character of the team. So again, we've had 2 weeks again just to be with each other and try and make each other better on the pitch, and we go into Sunday and determined to get some points on the board. Cheers.
Of course, it's too early to panic, but equally, as you've been discussing there, it's a short season. So there is a sort of weird balance about the urgency to get a result, really, isn't there? As it is a short season.
Yeah, the 2 games, we weren't happy with them. There's no beating around the bush. We weren't at our best, and we hold ourselves in high regard and demand more from each other, absolutely. But we've got to stick together. We've got to trust the processes that we have, and we've got to believe in the way that we play, because ultimately that served us so well last season.
You've got a good balance of ages within the squad, but you've got quite a lot of experience in there as well, and can the experienced older heads just sort of help at this point, so just stay calm.
Yeah, and that's what we've asked them to do. We've got a leadership group within the team, and they've been really pivotal over the last couple of weeks to make sure that we are together for those players who are maybe down in their moments, to rejuvenate them and bring them back to where we want to be. But like we say, we're not panicking.
One of the hardest parts, I imagine, of being a coach is how much football's played in the brain, as well as with the feet. You can see that the confidence dipped after Southampton's goal. So how do you manage that? Because obviously, so not so long ago you were challenging for the title, but it can turn quickly. It must be a big part of what you're trying to do with the players at the moment.
Yeah.
Try and stop that sort of confidence line.
Yeah, and I think you've got to have discussions around that. And them moments where you might concede a goal, in them immediate moments afterwards, what's the strategy? What's the plan? But the goals we conceded in the Southampton game were obviously really disappointing, really, really preventable, which is again even more so disappointing when you see the outcome of the game, because the chances that we created and the stats show that actually we should have done a lot better in the game in terms of the outcome. But not making mistakes is important, in having the confidence to be able to be brave on the ball in their moments and not gift simple opportunities for the opposition. If someone's going to score a goal against us, they should be working really hard to carve us open, and that certainly didn't happen against Southampton.
And that's something I know will hurt you as a coach.
Yeah.
That's like the main pillar of your team, doesn't it? It always has been.
Yeah.
So you want to play good football, but defensively being sound has always been kind of number one priority.
Yeah, and it still is, and that's it's been a real focus over and it's a balance, because you want to have the ball and you want to be creative and score goals, but ultimately we've got to be more solid as a team, and that's not looking at just one individual. It's all 11 players enjoying defending when you haven't got the ball and having the desire to go and win the ball back.
You mentioned there sort of trust in the process, and Alan and Dale, player you've been wanting to sign for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You have to kind of, I guess, stay positive. If you keep producing those chances, she is going to start scoring a lot of goals. Everything in her career today suggests that's going to be
Yeah, and she will. And she was very disappointed in herself in missing a penalty against Southampton. It's the first ever penalty she's missed, so she was devastated. But she'll be on the next one. We trust her. And again, if we can create more chances higher up the pitch, she's definitely the person who's going to put the ball in the net for her.
And just before we go, can I ask you a little bit about the League Cup next week? I know you've got Sunderland,
Yeah.
just how you're going to manage that competition last year. It's obviously had a role for you in the last few years, and the youngsters has been an opportunity for you. Is it very much going to be the same this year?
I think so. I think we'll, we have a small cohort of young players who train with us on a Thursday. I'm pretty sure they'll be involved. We play on a Thursday, so it's a difficult fixture for us because we travel to Charlton on the Saturday, so it's a very quick turnaround. So we'll make that judgment after we play London City in terms of if we picked up any little niggles or anything like that. But we'll definitely be a couple of youngsters playing in that game.